How you guys doing? This is Derek with Dullin Woodworking. Today I'm excited to do a review on the new Graco Ultra 490 XT. Now I am super stoked to get my hands on one of these and do a review. These came out a few months back, maybe it was like 6 months back. They started getting released and announced and stuff like that. These are just, I feel like, the new generation of sprayers right here. It has the new extreme torque motor with 1.3 horsepower. It is 15 times more torque than traditional motors. It's also 10 times quieter, which is awesome. One of the things that I'm really excited about. Some more of the features: it has the pressure range between 50 and 3,300 PSI. And one of the awesome features about this, I feel like I keep saying that, but this just has so many awesome features. It has the display screen on the side that tells you what your PSI is and what you're spraying, and you're able to adjust it on the side as well. And it's gonna stay right within like 10 PSI either way. Might not even get farther, or might not even get up to 10 either way. It might only be like 3 PSI here and there, which is, I feel like, unheard of. Usually they vary a lot more than that. So there's also two selectable spray modes. There's a low pressure and high pressure. One of the other awesome features is the fast cleaning. It has the turbo clean feature, which uses, I believe, half the water to clean the sprayer. It is like 3 times faster cleaning, which I'm pumped about. That's one of my least favorite things about spraying, is cleaning the sprayer. And that just goes between all sprayers that I've used. I hate taking the time to clean the sprayer, so if I can do it quickly, that's huge for me. So there's that. It also has the Watchdog pump protection, so it shuts off when you need a refill. That way it doesn't like ruin your motor, pump, anything like that. There is an add-on if you want, that's a hopper. You detach these hoses right here, and then you can add a hopper. There's an arm that comes up, and then there's a plastic hopper right there, so you can pour the paint in. If you don't want to have to clean these, or you're not doing a ton of paint, so you just want like a small hopper. It's a cool feature. I don't know, maybe I'll pick one up and try it out, but I'm pretty sure this is gonna work just fine for me. So those are some of those. This specific one is the low boy. This right here weighs 56 pounds. This is their middle size sprayer. The small one is called the stand. It does not have any wheels. It just kind of has 4 legs, and then it has a handle right up top here. It is definitely smaller and lighter. It's 20 pounds lighter than this one. That's 36 pounds. This one's 56. And then the high boy is the real tall one. You can fit a full 5-gallon bucket under it. That one, I'm actually not sure the weight, but it is definitely more than 56 pounds. But yeah, so this one right here is the low boy. Now this comes with this gun right here, which is the contractor PC gun. It's just kind of a standard gun. Comes with the hose, of course. Comes with some tips, I believe. I have some tips here that, if you've seen any of my other review videos, I've reviewed the Quick Shot. And of course I have tips all over the place from spraying, using Graco sprayers for years now. So let's talk about the guns for a minute. So like I just said, I did a review on the Quick Shot. If you guys are looking into that compared to this, maybe go out and check that video out too. I do love the Quick Shot. One of the awesome technologies in that gun is the actual spray gun itself has the technology to close that orifice in a split second. So if you're not familiar with airless spraying, every time you pull the trigger and let go, it's going to squirt some paint out. So you have to start and stop after your piece so that you're not squirting paint at the very end of your piece or at the beginning of your piece. This is really frustrating if you're spraying like inside a cabinet, bookcase, stuff like that. So when the Quick Shot came out and that technology was introduced to where you could pull the trigger and let go and there was none of that squirting paint, that was huge, especially for spraying cabinetry, like I said, bookcases, stuff like that. That was huge. Now this gun is not that, but they just released, it's called the Power Shot. It was just released, announced this week. They have 2 different models. Now there's the Power Shot XT, which connects to this sprayer right here, and then they have just the Power Shot, which connects to like the older sprayers like the 390, and I believe there's more models that it would connect to. Now the difference is on the XT model, There's a little belt pack, it clips onto your belt, and it has a DeWalt battery because there has to be power to that gun. Now, there's actually an adjustment for pressure on that belt pack. What's awesome about it is that connects to your XT sprayer, and so you don't need to go all the way back to your sprayer to adjust your pressure. You can turn it up, turn it down right on your belt pack. Now, the power shots that connect to the older 390 models, those aren't going to have that feature. Because it's an older sprayer, they don't really have that compatibility right now. So you will have to walk back to your sprayer, do that. But if you're somebody who already has an older sprayer and want some of this newer technology that's coming out, that feature is out there now. Not sure when you guys are going to be able to order those or get those. Maybe call your local Sherwin-Williams. You can talk to them about possibly getting one of those, or even one of these new 490 XTs, which I'm excited to try out today. But back to talking about the guns, those power shots have the ability to open and close that little orifice extremely quick, making this probably one of the best cabinet sprayers, as I would say. The quick shot is and still is awesome, but for smaller stuff. Like if you're spraying a kitchen of 21 cabinets with 42 doors, the quick shot is going to get a little difficult because you're going to be filling up that cup like every 2 minutes. So this, having the ability to just put right into the paint and just start spraying, is huge. And I've been using the Graco quick shot for a while, and I've been using it on kitchens where I've had 20 cabinets, 40 doors, and let's just say you really do fill up that cup like every 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm super excited to try this out. Talking about tips for a second, I primarily only use the green fine finish tips. Everything we do is cabinetry. Now the fine finish tips, from what I understand, there's like two orifices in there, something like that, that makes it so that the paint comes out extremely fine. The yellow ones, I think there's only one orifice in there, so it doesn't come out as fine. Regardless, I always just use the green fine finish tips. I found what works. I kind of stick with that. So we're going to be doing a test today with Gallery Series paint. Now that's the primary paint that I use for the paint is Gallery Series. I also use all Sherwin-Williams products. The Sherwin-Williams Premium Wall and Wood for my primer, and then I use the Gallery Series as my 2 coats for the finish. So today we're going to be running some water through it first. We'll be able to see how loud this thing is. I've heard really good things about the sound. Someone locally picked up one of these and they were saying they were able to talk to a customer with their AirPods in while they were spraying. Previously not really able to do that because of the sound. So I'm really excited to demo this. So let's get ready and let's spray some water through first. First step in setting this thing up, let's open up some of the accessories. The gun. Okay, so we have the gun. Feels pretty good, looks really nice. One of the things I really like about this is it has the blue tip cover, and that's actually the same one that is on both of my other sprayers. I have like 4 handheld sprayers and then also the Graco Quick Shot, which means all the tips are going to be interchangeable, and the tip covers, which I'm a big fan of. All right, let's open up the hose. Now that we have the hose undone, we're going to connect the hose to both the gun and the machine. I moved the hoses out of the way. This is where your hose is going to connect to the sprayer. Get this off of here. It's got a red cover on it. Unscrew right off. Now let's connect the hose to it. Already took off the red covers from both sides of the hose. Let's connect one side to the sprayer. Then we'll just do like a final turn with a crescent wrench. Oh, maybe a little bit more than a final turn. There we go. Same thing with the gun. Connect it right to the bottom. We need another pair of pliers to hold the other side. Now we have the gun hooked up to the machine, ready to spray some water through. Let's see how it does. Let's go over some of this display and what it has to offer. So we turn it on. Shows you obviously that it is a Graco. So the L stands for low pressure. If you click this spray mode, it'll switch it back to high pressure, and you can cycle back and forth. These dashes will show whenever you have lower than 50 psi. It's not going to show you any psi. It'll just show you those dashes. This is the watchdog, which, like I said before, protects it so that if you go too low of where you don't have any more material left, it will shut off, so it protects your pump. If you hold spray mode, you can turn watchdog off. Hold it, it'll turn watchdog back on. Go over here to menu. One click is going to show job. This shows how many gallons I have used for this job, or for me, I'm just spraying water here, just kind of testing it out. If I hit it again, well, job, and then hit it again, it shows your lifetime gallons, which is the same. I have yet to reset anything. So let's go back to job. Say you're going to start a new job here. Job, 3 gallons. You hold it, and it reprograms it to 0 for the job, but life will stay at 3 gallons so that you'll always know how many gallons you have through the sprayer. So yeah, now job says 0. This is, of course, your dial where you adjust your pressure. We won't go too crazy into that because we're not spraying at the moment. But on the right side, all the way down, if you were to twist this all the way to here, this is where turbo clean is. All the way over here, all the way on the left side is off, obviously. So let's see what it can do. So here I have the both hoses from the machine going into a bucket of, it's probably about 1.5 gallons of water, something around there. So we have this pointed down, which releases the pressure. I put the tip guard on. I've already done a little bit of spraying here. So I have the tip guard on and the tip that comes with it. So let's turn it on. Now, first and foremost, to turn the watchdog on so that it shuts off when it's empty or telling you that it's empty, you hold spray mode. Watchdog comes on. When you use the turbo clean feature, they recommend that you turn it off. You can turn it off. We can keep it on for now. But yeah, so let's do this. Let's switch this to spray. All right, we're in high pressure. Our pressure is all the way down here. So it has the H telling us we're in high pressure. We're going to hold this here, and I'm going to slowly twist this until we start to get some water through. So right around 500, it's going between 490 and 500. Let's go up to, we're 700. Going between 700 and 710. Let's go to 1,000. Staying right on 1,000. Definitely see that it's spraying a ton all over the air, but it's pretty awesome. Let's go full out. Let's go all the way up where it says 3,300, 3,290. I'm going to adjust this a little bit better. Oh no, this popped off. About pop that back in. All right, here we go. You can definitely tell that full out has definitely got some power. I don't know when I would probably run it full out, especially spraying cabinetry, but it's nice to have that it goes all the way up to 3,300. We're probably going to stay in the low, really low pressure range. We'll probably keep it on low pressure for what we do. But yeah, so far, I mean, I haven't sprayed any paint with it, but so far the thing's awesome. Let's get it down to the pressure that we're at now. Let's see, with low pressure. Definitely going to take some time getting used to and finding the settings that I'm going to want for spraying cabinetry. Honestly, kind of feels pretty good right there. This isn't the tip that I'm going to be using though for spraying cabinetry. The one that came in this one is a 517. So that is definitely a pretty large tip. You know, might be what you'd use for walls or something like that. I don't use sprayers much for painting walls. It's mainly cabinetry that we use them for. So if I'm incorrect on that, you can correct me. No idea what you'd use for walls. So yeah, still getting used to this thing. Let's release the pressure. To release it, you're going to point this down. Going to release the pressure there. So far, I'm making a little bit of a mess with water all over the place. So we just ran some water through it. Let's get ready to spray some paint through it. So I replaced the tip that came in it, which was the 517. I actually just opened up a brand new one. It's my favorite tip to use. It is the 210. I don't know if you can see that, but it is the Fine Finish 210. So I figured if I'm going to be testing this out, I might as well use the tip that I'm going to be using the most anyways. So I put that tip in here. Now, the paint that we're going to be using is the Sherwin-Williams Gallery series. This is obviously a gallon that I've already been using. It's just kind of a scrap gallon I have here at the shop, which I figured would be perfect for testing this out. The color of this is Anderon. I can post that down in the description if you are curious about the color. It came out a really nice green, and maybe I'll show you a picture of some cabinets that we did. Those are some cabinets that we painted this color Anderon. But anyways, back to the Graco Quick Shot. So let's put it in the paint. Hopefully there's enough in there. There is not a ton. I have actually another whole gallon of this. I miscalculated how many gallons I was going to need for this project. Overbought by 1.5 gallons, which was very unfortunate. But, so let's turn this on. We are going to do low pressure. I did wrap the cord around, so hopefully that's not really in the way of the screen. Let's go to low pressure. We'll keep Watchdog on. Why not, in case we get too low a paint. So I have a bucket over here, and I'm just going to keep holding the trigger, spraying. I'm going to do this off screen, but really all I'm doing is going to be, well, I can try to do it here. Just spraying, just water's coming out right now. Just clean water, waiting for the paint to come through. Okay. Now we're getting paint. Okay. So now paint is worked into the gun. So that 1/2 gallon of paint didn't end up being enough. There wasn't enough in there. So I just cracked open the new gallon of the Gallery Series Anderon. Have this set to high pressure. It's on 590. Let's kind of see what we can get out of it. It's coming out. Just spray some into a bucket. Let's see what it looks like when we start spraying on a piece of wood. It was on 590. it's coming out really smooth, coming out really even. Don't want to put too much paint in one spot, but it's honestly pretty good. Turn it up a little bit. It's not going to really be great because I'm going to be spraying over what I just painted. We can kind of see it coming out. That's right around 1,000 right here. It is on high pressure, so we're going to be able to go all the way up if we wanted to. That's going to create a lot of overspray. I'm only using a 210 tip. Let's go up a little bit more. This is right around 1,500. It's going to be a lot of paint right in one spot. Let's go jump to 2,000. Let's see what it looks like at 2,000. Right there's 2,000. That's definitely a lot more pressure than I would want for cabinets, but might be decent for, you know, spraying walls or something like that. Let's turn it back down. I think what I really liked was, I think I liked right around like even 1,000 I think was right around something decent for maybe cabinetry. That's 740. It's like right around 780, 800. That might be decent. Let's have some fun. I have an extra piece of trim. Let's put that over here and let's spray it. Seems like I have a clog in the tip. Gonna switch the tip around to the unclog. This is not on camera, but to unclog it. Switch the tip back around. I don't really want to do a ton of overspray here in the shop, but I don't know if I'd ever paint trim this color. But it is definitely a nice green. Didn't even seem like with this gun there was a lot of spurting when I pulled the trigger and let go. Doesn't really seem like it. Honestly, looks like it came out really good. Gonna let that dry. I know the sprayer doesn't really have much of a difference in how it dries or what the quality of the final product is. It doesn't have a ton of difference. A lot of that has to do with the paint, but this was on high pressure, 800 psi. That seemed like it would be really good for spraying cabinets. Now we are going to clean it. So I have the one hose that is sucking in the paint. It is in water. I have the return hose just in just a bucket. It's got a little bit of painty water in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this down, the release pressure, and then we're going to go to clean mode, which is turn all the way down to the bottom. It's actually coming out pretty decent already. It probably only went through maybe half a gallon, maybe 3/4 of a gallon, but I could see where it stopped, like thicker paint coming through, and it became just kind of watered down paint. Being such a dark color, it's going to be definitely greenish for a while cleaning it, but that looked like it was coming through pretty clean. We're gonna keep going, and then we're gonna also flush the gun as well in the line. So let's see if we can do a little bit more of this. Now let's flush the gun. What I don't want to do is have a ton of mess, but it's honestly probably going to be a little bit of a mess. Let's go to low pressure. Go into clean mode. I don't think it's been flushed yet. Still looking pretty paint filled. It is a pretty long hose too. Definitely holds a decent amount of paint. What also might be a good idea that I'm not doing right now is you could probably salvage the paint that is in the line by probably doing exactly what I'm doing, but into something else to put back into the paint can. So now, right now, I'm starting to see it getting really diluted. So now the water's starting to come through. Yeah, I can definitely see it's definitely a lot thinner, it's splattering a lot more. So we have a start to the cleaning process. It is far from clean, but one of the good things is at least the thick paint is worked out of it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna empty these buckets. Let's start getting some clean water through. I'll clean this off and stuff like that. So it's just kind of the thick gunk of the paint is gonna be gone, and then we'll run through some clean water. So I cleaned both buckets and I put 2 gallons of water into the other bucket that this hose is going to be sucking in that water. And then this is obviously the return hose. Put this in the empty bucket. Let's do the turbo clean again. I've already ran through some water as we've seen. Since I know there's 2 gallons in that, let's see how clean it's going to go through when we run some of that through. So let's go down and let's run it to clean. It's getting there. It looked like it was getting a decent amount cleaner. That's looking really clean right there. That is probably, that's at least a gallon, if not maybe like a gallon and, let me look. Maybe like a gallon and a half, and that was coming out of this. I mean, you saw it was very, very clean. So that looks really good. That didn't take much water at all to clean that, clean the pump. Definitely need to run through some more through the hose, clean the line, clean the gun. Then we'll have to also clean the tip and stuff like that. So let's do the gun and the hose a little bit more. So it's coming out decent. One of the things I want to do is, they say not to run too much paint through the tip. So I only like to run a little bit through the tip, and then I like to clean it by hand. What I like to do to clean the tip is I just use a little cup of clean water, and I use one of these like plastic bristled toothbrushes. It tends to work pretty good. And then to finish off, I do this twice. I don't know if it's recommended. It probably might not be recommended. But I take a air hose from the air compressor, and I kind of just blow through the holes both ways. And then I do it again where I clean it in the water, and then I do it again where I blow through the air compressor out the holes and get it to be pretty clean. I don't know if they would recommend you doing that. I haven't seen any sort of damage happen to the tip or anything like that from what I have done. It's also kind of easier to clean it and make sure that it's clean. So that's how I do that. I'm just going to continue running some water through this gun. See if we can get this coming out pretty clean. Now it's coming out pretty clear. Let me peek in this bucket. Yeah, it's still looking pretty clear in that bucket. Doesn't look like any paint returned to that one. But it's actually coming out pretty clear. I'll try to do this without making a mess. Kind of hard to show you from this angle, but it is coming out cleaner. I may run a little bit more right now, and then what I'll probably do is clean at least this bucket out. And then we're just going to start fresh and probably do something along this again, but it's going to be starting from a lot cleaner water. And then I'll probably end up cleaning this tip guard. I like to pull these off and put them in that same little bucket of water, scrub them a little bit, and then go about it that way. So I'm going to run a little bit more water just to make sure that we're clear. Yeah. Yeah, so let's clean that bucket. Let's clean that bucket out and let's go from there. So I changed out the water. All the water is clean now. I did take this off. I scrubbed it down a little bit. An important thing to also remember about these tip guards is there is a little part inside. I usually just use a flathead screwdriver and I kind of bump it out there. But it's the part that has the tiny little spray tip, and then there's a little rubber gasket underneath. Now they do give you a new one of these with every tip. Now I wouldn't change it out every time because you'd obviously run out of them. So I just kind of take it out and I clean it, make sure that hole is clean. To put it back in, this isn't the tip that I was using, but to put it back in, you can clip it on here. The gasket clips on there. And then you feed it through the way that it goes and clip it right in there. Then you push it and then it stays in there. That's how you put it in using the tip itself. And then you make sure that it's lined up, which it is. So I would just make sure you clean that part each time. Make sure that's clean. Now we'll just kind of wipe the gun down a little bit. Definitely is getting a lot of paint splatters in it, around it. I don't do the best job on cleaning the outside of the guns. Mainly focused to make sure the actual pump and everything else is clean, and then the cosmetic part, not too worried about. One thing I notice is when this is pointing down and we're doing the clean mode or anything like that, this does tend to drip. I don't know if that's something that is on purpose or whatnot, but that does drip. So let's put it back in clean mode. Pretty sure we're pretty clean here. Yeah, you can see that's very clean water. So So that's clean. We'll put it back in there, so that's just returning the water back to the clean bucket. So it's just kind of doing a cycle. Let's spray some more water through this. I think we're pretty close to being clean, which in my head feels kind of crazy because I feel like we did not run that much water through this thing. But what's incredible is that's the point of the turbo clean. So let's run some water through it and just make sure. So the very first time I pulled the trigger, a little bit of paint stuff came out, and then after like a second, it was pretty clean. So it's still looking pretty clean. So we're looking pretty good right now. One thing I want to do, which I'm going to be really surprised if I can just undo it with my hands because it's probably very tight, is I want to pull this off. Now I want to release the pressure first. Make sure that's released. And then there's a filter in here that we should clean. Actually, wow. Wasn't as tight as I thought it was going to be. So I'm sure a bunch of water is going to come out of here. There's the filter, just a little bit of paint residue around the base of it and stuff like that. I'm just going to take a cloth and just kind of wipe. I don't think we need to go crazy or anything. That honestly wasn't that dirty. We're also running some water through it. That looks clean as well. Doesn't even look dirty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dip it in the paint, or the paint. I'm going to dip it in the clean bucket of water and then slide that back on there. I'm going to stick this in there. It does look like there's a little paint residue in there. So get some water coming out. I'm surprised how that was not hard to pull off. Maybe it's just meant to stay so you can undo it. So let's do that part again. Let's do the clean mode. And then let's run more through the gun. See if that stirred up anything. We look pretty clean. So that wasn't so bad of a cleaning process at all. Honestly, this is one of my first times cleaning a sprayer like this. I'm still learning about this thing. Obviously, I jumped past the base sprayers. I feel like a 390, stuff like that, and I jumped right to one that has the screen, all these different controls, all these different features. So I'm still learning about this thing too. So let me finish up a few things and then we'll do the overview. A few other things is it also comes with this throat seal liquid. Now, not really gonna be able to do a close up, but it shows you in the directions too. But you fill up this area down in the front. You put it in one of the areas right in there and you just squeeze a little bit in there. Another thing I did is I did run some pump armor through the pump. Got that running through there. I always like to do that. It's also really important if you have hard water, because hard water is not good for the pumps in these things. The pumps in any sprayers. Honestly, I don't think hard water is good for anything. So it's important to do that as well to protect the pump and prolong the life of your sprayer. So overall, I really like this. This was just a really brief first use and first thoughts on this. I'm excited to use it for the first kitchen. I'm going to keep you guys updated. I'll probably do another video or two. I will do a DB test. Can't remember if I said I was going to do that in this video or not, but I did actually just purchase an official DB meter. So when I get that in, I'll do that test. But I'm going to keep you guys updated. It's not going to be a phenomenal, perfect review having just sprayed a little bit because, I mean, obviously, I didn't work the kinks out. I haven't sprayed like 10 gallons with the thing to really be able to really know what it's going to do. So I'm going to do another video or two in the future to really be able to dial this thing in and to share my thoughts as the time goes on. I did that with the quick shot as well. I did my first initial spray. I mean, the first time I used it was actually I was doing a job, so it was easier to do like a full official review on it. So in the future, I'm definitely going to do a couple more of those videos, so look out for those. And yeah, I mean, if you're in the market for a sprayer, I think it is worth it to jump to this sprayer. Just the innovation that went into this is another, like, I feel like it's 10 levels above even the 390, just to be able to have the display screen, what they did with the pump, the quietness to it, the turbo clean feature, also being able to see how many gallons it took to do that job. To me, that is important. As you saw when I was spraying the green paint, I bought 1.5 gallons too much. So now each job I do, I kind of write down what I was spraying, how many cabinets, how many doors, all that. And I write down how many gallons of primer and how many gallons of paint I used, so that in the future, figuring a similar job, I can try to get closer. Just so that I'm not like, oh, I have 5 gallons of paint left over. I really hope somebody does this color in the future. And if not, oh well. So yeah, I would highly recommend going and grabbing one of these. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts, if you guys picked one of these up, or if you guys are looking to. Let me know what you guys thought.